Guten Abend.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, Federal Chancellor, Madam von der Leyen, Excellencies, guests, a warm welcome to all of you, also on behalf of Michael Schwarz and Volker Hassemer, on the occasion of the State of the Europe speech organized by the Adenauer Foundation together with the Foundation Zukunft Berlin and the Mercator Foundation for the 10th time. Of course, we are happy that this anniversary event is perceived by the public and the media so vividly. On behalf of the members of the European Parliament, the Bundestag and the House of Representatives of Berlin, and the chairman of the group of the EPP parliamentary group, François Bellamy, welcome to you. Werner Hoyer, the president of the German Investment Bank, should be mentioned as the representative of all the guests attending this evening event and representing all the foreign partners and friends. I would like to welcome the former Prime Minister of Austria, Wolfgang Schüssel. Welcome to you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, during this weekend we remember the fall of the wall 30 years ago, the most spectacular peaceful change we have seen in Europe's history, in any event with regard to borders and power relations at any time. These events, which for all those who witnessed these events directly or indirectly, it will remain unforgetful in the former West Berlin and the former GDR. This would not have happened had they not been part of a development throughout the whole of Europe. In other words, in Germany too, all what happened would not have happened if it was to take place in Germany only. And also the following way to Germany's unity was only open and passable because in the decade-long, it was embedded in the decade-long process of integration, and because over the many years and decades, the trust among neighbors and neighboring states, this relationship had grown, and that the restoration of German unity, the architecture, has not threatened the architecture of Europe, but has made a contribution to overcoming the division of Europe. 30 years on, today, Europe finds itself in, let me say, a complicated constitution under certain aspects astounding and other aspects sobering conditions. On the one hand, we live in a Europe which, historically speaking, has never been in a better shape than during the 30 years that followed after the fall of the wall. For the first time in the history of 2,000 years of Europe, we live in a Europe where in all states, exceptionally, freely elected parliaments govern the states of Europe, which we consider the normal state of affairs nowadays. Therefore, we have to remind ourselves occasionally that this is the absolute exceptional status of Europe. We have, for the first time, to decide for ourselves how to vision our future, or in other words, we have no excuses left anymore. There's nobody preventing us from doing what we consider to be right. provided that we know what we want. This is the other part of the study of the state of Europe. Probably it is a slight exaggeration to say that the European community of states, since its beginning, has rarely been in a more difficult situation than today with regard to the agreement of goals and methods and ways to maintain our position in a united world. For the first time, one member state is leaving the community of states. And even though concerns have not proven right that other member states would or might follow this decision, cannot be overlooked when we see that the preparedness or the passion for further ambitious steps of integration in most of the member states have remained in a limited condition. And up and down Europe, we have seen in Europe, among those who do not want it, that a surprising high rate of support could be stated. Indeed, ladies and gentlemen, in times of globalization, the European states can only preserve their free will, provided that they share their sovereignty and master it jointly. Therefore, tendencies to renationalize, favored by many populist parties in Europe, are anachronistic, obsolete, and will not solve none of the problems we are confronted with individually and together. When it comes to the challenging tasks of the future, the nation-state finds its limits. That is why, for solving these tasks in our own vital interest, we will not need less common solutions, but more of them. We need more European ambition to master our fate. The State of the Europe speech, as it has become a good tradition every year, is to invite a president in charge or an incumbent president from a body to present one's own personal perspective and vision of the situation, i.e. presidents of the European Parliament or the Commission or the Council, or as in previous years, the European Court of Justice. For the 10th State of Europe speech, we have come up with an innovation. For the first time, we have asked a president of Europe who has been elected but not in office yet. Mrs. von der Leyen, you are ahead of your time. I take this as a good omen. With the capability of harmonizing this with your calendar. The significance of this subject and this event and this special occasion on the eve of November the 9th is crowned by the presence of the Federal Chancellor. I'm happy that you are here, my friend Angela, but that you will also speak to us, and I would like to ask the President-elect of the European Commission to remove all my concerns I mentioned initially, and to give us even more optimism in the second, more comfortable part of our event. Welcome again.